From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is the Midday Report on LALATE.
It's a big noontime here on LA with incredible great details about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021. In this recording, we'll go over your monthly stimulus check and why the Democrats are likely to give you more months of checks. Then we go to the deal. Done. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to you under the fourth stimulus recon. This is not the children's checks. That was third stimulus. This is fourth stimulus. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to you. Seniors, workers, and everyone else. I'll go over all the incredible details in this recording. And then we cut to the vote, the bill, the dates. Suddenly there's a bill ready for a vote. Could there be a second bill? And why were Nancy and Ron Portman battling over voting dates over the weekend? Who goes first? Who goes this week? And who goes second? I have all the incredible details in the final 15 of the final 7 of this video. Then we cut to fifth stimulus, which raises your benefits up if you're on SSI, SSDI, and veterans. And finally, the big money across the board, as one viewer gets $17,000 of rent over the weekend, joining Nisi, who got $20,000, Art Sullivan, who got 3 items across the board. I'm going to show you how you can get $5, $10, $15, $20,000 of money right now, not 5 weeks from now, and not 5 days from now. This is Noontime, and it starts right here, right now, direct from Santa Monica, this afternoon. Hey, good noontime, everybody. How are you doing? It's a big, bold, beautiful day, and finally it cooled off here in Southern California. We had rain overnight. Can you imagine? You never hear those words, rain in Los Angeles, in the same sentence. You never hear that. 4 hours of massive rain, and then it's cooler today, so finally that heat went away. How's the weather where you are? Tell me where you're tuning in from, and how's the weather? In this fourth stimulus check update of 2021, we'll go over that monthly stimulus check and why you're likely to get more months of checks. And then we cut to the recon. Exciting news, as $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to the American people. This is you. This is not the children's checks. That's third stimulus. This is fourth stimulus. Seniors, everyone, my workers, and everyone else. I'll go over all the incredible details about this $3.5 trillion of checks coming to you under fourth stimulus recon. Then the bill, the votes. We have a bill set for a vote this week, and could there be a second bill? And meantime, why did Ron Portman and Nancy Pelosi go after each other on Sunday morning news? I'll explain the details. Finally, is there a plan B set up for the Democrats? There is. I'll go over that as well. And then the exciting news about fifth stimulus that raises your benefits up a lifetime with a new benchmark for my SSI and SSDI and VA recipients. More money, more benefits, it's coming to you. Finally, the big money across the board. Rent, utilities, food, and internet. As Nisi got $23,000. Art Sullivan got 3 items. I'm going to show you how you can get this big fortune of money for rent, utilities, SNAP, and more. And this is LA. America's only 24-hour day, 7 days a week financial news channel in America. Live in the morning like right now and taped in the afternoons. Coming up next is Afternoons Throwback at 1 o'clock, then a new Afternoons LA at 3 o'clock, then Evenings LA all new this afternoon. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record in 1 year. Next up, 1 million. I want you part of this family by subscribing right now. Like the video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Let's get right into that monthly stimulus check starting right now with understanding how the pandemic has changed it all once again. Well, when we look at those monthly stimulus checks, House versus Senate, the House pays more checks. House pays pandemic plus 1 year monthly stimulus checks. Senate pays July to December. Let's go over the monthly payouts. House, $1,000 after the first month of $2,000. Senate proposal, monthly unknown, but word on the street is it's this. Deliciousness. $2,000 over 6 months, $12,000. Or $1,400 over 6 months, $8,400. Well, everything has changed in less than 4 weeks. When we were looking at this 4 weeks ago, we said maybe the pandemic's over. That would mean we would just get 12 checks 1 year. But then 3 weeks ago, it became clear the pandemic was not over. Pandemic plus 1 year. The pandemic looked clearly not over 3 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, it looked clear that the pandemic was definitely not over. And then last week, it looked clear that the pandemic is far from over. If that's the case, then the House bill would pay pandemic plus 1 year, which would be more than 12 checks. And those 12 checks would be more than $13,000. Compare that to this. I think you have an opinion. I think you have an opinion. Jump in the live chat right now and vote House or Senate. House or Senate. Tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. Vote House or Senate right now. Well, everything has changed so quickly. Who gets this fourth stimulus check? Democrats represent, you do. If you got a third stimulus check, you get the fourth stimulus check. Single individual, $75,000 or less. Democrats want you to have a fourth stimulus check. Married couple, $150,000 or less. Democrats want you to have a fourth stimulus check. Double it. Family of four. Democrats want you to have a fourth stimulus check. Quadruple it. And if you're on benefits, Democrats want you to have a fourth stimulus check. SSI, SSDI, and VA included. The fourth stimulus check is not income. It's not taxable. The fourth stimulus check, it would be the same amount for everyone, including adult dependents. And the fourth stimulus check would come monthly, not a waivable check. I learned my lesson about that last weekend. I was at Mitch's Lobster Fest, and I went up to Mitch and I said, Senator McConnell, how are you? Hello, LALATE, how are you? Good, LALATE. Good, Senator McConnell. I want to come up to you and wave at you, Mitch. How are you? Not a waivable check, LALATE. To which I turned to him and I said, well, Mitch, you're also not a monthly check either. Get out of here, LA. Security, get him out of here. The fourth stimulus check would cover the month of July for the month of July and in the month of August for the month of August. But in the second half of this video, we go over the exciting details of $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to you. Deal done. The recon is confirmed. Price tag and the passage of it. All they have to do is vote on the bill. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to you. Not children's checks, your checks. These are adults. These are seniors. These are workers. I have all the incredible details in the second half of this video. In the third part of this video, the final 15 of the final 7, stay to that final 15 minutes of this video. We'll go over the next 7 days, which are critical for stimulus because we're nearly at the finish line. Ron Portman says the vote is ready to go this week. So is he going first or is he going second? Is Nancy going first or is she going second? And is there a backup plan? Is our money ready for a vote as early as tomorrow, the day after? It's getting very exciting news. Stay with me to the final 15 of the final 7. But first, here's a preview of fifth stimulus. It raises your benefits up if you are on SSI and SSDI. This is what the president promised during the campaign trail. It's now happening. It's this fall. But first, let's get some money. Boy, you have been killing it. If you've gotten rent, post in the live chat right now. If you got utilities, post it right now. If you got Snap, post it right now. The numbers viewers are delivering are incredible. I was recording videos just a few weeks ago where I said I can get you $5,000 for rent. Now Nisi's getting $20,000 for rent. And over the weekend, a new viewer got $17,000 to $18,000 for rent. Oh my goodness, it's incredible. For utilities, I said I can get you $300 for utilities. Viewers are getting $3,000 daily. Yes. And then when we turn to Snap, I said $5,000 to $6,000. A lot of viewers were getting for Snap. Now viewers are getting $10,000 to $12,000 for John. Congratulations, John. And Louie, $18,000. Oh my goodness. Get a pen and paper ready. I'm going to show you how you can get to this incredible money. I'm going to get you some rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and homeowners utilities. First, what's going on here? This is what we do. This is a channel where we cash checks, not track checks. In April of last year, this channel launched when people were not getting their EIDL loans or EIDL grants. There was no check to track because it wasn't coming, but we cashed them. $25 million of EIDL loans, I got approved, an internet record of enormous proportion. And then in fall of 2020, second stimulus checks were not coming. Nothing to track there. But I got viewers $250,000 of checks for rent to cash. And Tyrone, family 4 out of Boston, got $15,000 for rent during the holidays, paid all his rent all the way to the spring. He cashed it. A lot of money. But now you're cashing checks just bigger amounts than ever before. So get that pen and paper ready. I'm going to show you different places for different eligibility. You're going to reach out to each one. If one says no, reach out to the next. Always apply. Don't ever not apply. And the keywords viewers tell me are critical to getting approved. All right, you ready? You're going to reach out to your city hall, your city housing authority, your county hall, your county housing authority, your state hall, your state housing authority. Keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, or mortgage assistance or utility assistance because of COVID. You don't say words they don't know, like stimulus or Mitch's popularity contest. Did he win it? No, I don't think he did. So there you go. And congratulations to Tim and Linda who got this wonderful pot of money. The next pot of money is Snap. If you got in rent at utilities, post in the live chat right now. Now we turn to Snap. John, congratulations. You got $10,000 to $12,000. Congratulations, my friend. And then Louie, $18,000. You killed it, Louie. Great. Snap is a fortune. Lynn Glenn got it for herself, her son, and her mom. Gail got it as well. What is Snap? It's money for your food. How do you get it? Department of Agriculture. How much does it pay? A fortune. A family of four in Hawaii now gets upwards of $16,000 a year. Whoa, why so much money? Because of two wonderful executive orders, one from Biden, one from Trump, that raise your benefits up nationally 15% between now and December. So go get it. You're killing it. $16,000 for rent for SNAP for family four out of Hawaii. $5,000 for rent, but we're seeing bigger numbers than that. And we're only 10 minutes of video. Well, I got more money for you right now. It is money coming back from your states. The overpayment due to computer error for unemployment benefits. Federal government has ordered return back to you. How much are you getting? Well, one viewer got $3,000. Another viewer got $5,000. If you got this as well, jump in the live chat. Where's it landing? Direct deposit? Can you track it? Sure. Call up your state and say, hey, state, where's that check due to computer error? And can you track it with a computer that actually works? And the last wonderful pot of money is the money coming back from the federal government, IRS. Margaret got it, Cog got it, Michael got it, and we have an update about this. IRS reports that these waivable checks, yes, they do come in waves. Sorry, bitch. The latest wave, the average payout is $1,265. Whoa. The latest wave went out on July 14th for direct deposit and paper checks July 16th, and a new wave is every week for the rest of the summer. Whoa. Great news. Now, if you're on the live chat and you've not posted your success story for rent, utilities, Snap, do it. Because when you do it, you help other viewers. That's the spirit of this channel, helping one another. Three things come from that. Number one, if people see you posting those success stories, and we have, let's say, 200 success stories in a chat that has 1,000 people in there, other people are inspired to get the money. They see it, and they're inspired to go get the money. Number two, if you're someone like Art Sullivan who got 3 items, and you post in the live chat, that inspires people that got 1 item, get 2 more items. Why just get Snap when you can also get rent? Why just get utilities when you can also get Snap? And then finally, we get an update about the numbers because, boy, they're going bigger and bolder by the minute. All right, this refund check from IRS, where is it landing and all the details? Let's say you had $9,000 of total unemployment benefits. You pay $5,000 of taxes, of which $4,000 was your taxes on unemployment benefits. Congratulations, getting back $4,000. Where? Direct deposit, otherwise in the mail. When? This month, can you track it? Yes, go to irs.gov and do a transcript search. 75% of the time, 70% of the time, it works. It'll reveal the tax return you filed and the taxes you paid. But it'll also reveal stuff you never knew. It'll reveal stuff you really wish you never knew or heard or ever saw. It'll reveal when Mitch appeared on Star Search in the spokesperson contest. Was that hairdo he had Amazon hair? And finally, it'll reveal the refund check you're getting. Can we top that? We can. As we go into the second part of your fourth stimulus check update of 2021, starting right now. So here we go. Recon, done. Deal. The price tag, all done. $3.5 trillion. The recon, which is not checks for children, this is fourth stimulus, not third stimulus, is a fortune of checks for you. $3.5 trillion. The Democrats have agreed upon the price, and they agreed they're passing it. $3.5 trillion. All they have to do is call the vote, and they're done. For purposes of the price tag, wonderful news. Now, how do we get to this wonderful agreement on the $3.5 trillion price tag? By taking roads and bridges out. Originally, we had this massive recon that was too big. Before July 4th, Nancy and Chuck said, we're going to get this done by July 4th with roads and bridges in there. Then they asked their Democrat caucus. They said, no, we're not. We're not voting for that thing. It got to take the roads and bridges out. That's why they didn't get it done by July 4th. So they took the roads and bridges out and shrunk the recon, put the roads and bridges into the bipartisan. I feel like I'm on the I feel like I'm Vanna White, behind the E. Let's take the E. They put it over in the bipartisan, made the roads and made the recon smaller and made it passable. We have that confirmation from a conservative publication, op-ed, that says much the same as I've been reporting. The higher the price tag was on the recon before, the harder it was to pass. There you go. There's the confirmation. But by allowing the Democrats to take out some of the spending from the recon and put in the bipartisan, like roads and bridges, it made the overall price tag for the recon smaller, obviously. In other words, the bipartisan deal made the recon passable. Sorry, Mitch, sorry to set you up. But the Republicans don't feel set up. They think they've achieved a real milestone, and they say it's ready for a vote this week. This week? Yes, it is. That's what they claim. It's coming up later in this video. Well, once Democrats had taken the roads and bridges out of the recon and shrunk it, then they were able to add a little bit more stuff in there to come to a big, bold, beautiful number, 3.5 trillion. Deal done. And this is exactly where they wanted to land. Elon Omar, representative Democrat, Minnesota progressive, said, we need a recon that goes as far as we want it. You got it, Elon. 3.5 trillion. Congratulations. And then Richie Torres, representative of New York, progressive, originally said, we need a larger recon. You got it. 3.5 trillion. Congratulations. And the progressives were meeting with the White House daily to ensure that they got a big enough recon. They got it. 3.5 trillion. How did they get this point? Because they were protecting the recon. The president told Jalapal and also Brian Shaw, Democrat out of Hawaii, both progressives, to protect the recon because everything in the recon was checks, progressive priorities that are also the White House's own priorities. With that, let's go over what is a recon. How does it get voted on? When do we see it? Who writes it? Who finishes it? When do they vote on it? And when's the next step? First, let's start by knowing the terms. You hear me say the word recon and also bipartisan, but unfortunately, broadcast media and the president use other terms interchangeably, making it a little bit complicated. Remember, your money is the recon. The roads and bridges is the bipartisan, 2 words I only use on this channel. And while that may be simple, wrong graphic. While that may be simple, here we go. The problem is that broadcast media and the president use other words. Let's go over those other words. Recon, they also call it as reconciliation or budget bill. You recognize it by the price tag, 3.5 trillion, or the people quoted in the article about it like a Bernie Sanders. Bipartisan, also called infrastructure or roads and bridges. People you see quoted in the article about it are a Kristen Sinema, Mitt Romney, or a Ron Portman. Price tag 1.5 trillion. Okay, who writes the recon? The recon is written by Democrats for Democrats to be passed by Democrats. The actual authors of the recon are the House subcommittees, as the lead authors with the Senate subcommittees helping them, all Democrats. Under the Constitution, different House subcommittees are delegated different subject matters when writing legislation. So, for example, House Ways and Means is responsible for writing stimulus checks, also responsible for writing unemployment benefits. When each of those subcommittees are done, let's say with 10 pages and got 10 subcommittees, for example, they send them all up, combined 100 pages up to Chuck, and he puts a big S on it. For Laverne and Shirley, no. For Chuck Schumer, no. For Senate, there you go. And that is your reconciliation bill. Before that point, before we have a bill, we don't get to see it. There's no transparency rule under the Constitution. The subcommittee members don't have to show us what they're writing, show us what they're taking out, putting in, voting for, voting against. They don't have to show us. But hence, there's no bill yet. We have an emoji for that. When we have the bill, then it has that big S on it. And here's what you need to know. Is that mainstream media and myself both agree that we've not seen the recon bill in final format yet because the Democrats have not shown it to us. Sort of like a pop singer that has an upcoming album, doesn't want to show you the songs on that album to you, buy the album. Well, here you go. That is why that's important to know that we just don't have the recon in final format yet. So if you see a person who's a naysayer in the comments saying, I haven't heard if that's really in there. Well, that's because we don't have bill yet. No bill yet. We have an emoji for that. Can we top that? We can. As Jalapal wrote Schumer a letter recently saying, Chuck, call the vote. And that letter was signed by 12 House Democrats, part of the 100 plus, 100? Yes, 100 plus, who had written the president a letter weeks earlier saying, we're going to be putting monthly forced stimulus checks in the forced stimulus package. Whoa, that's a wonderful promise. Well, can we top it? We can. As 7 members of the House Ways and Means Subcommittee, the one you were just talking about, yep, that one, wrote the president a letter recently saying we're putting monthly forced stimulus checks in the forced stimulus package. Boy, they say they're going to give us monthly stimulus checks. Yep, they do. We got to keep them to their promise, purple power. Push, push, push. Well, they also wrote your 3rd stimulus check, and they represent them giving you a 5th. That's coming up later in this video. Can we top that? We can. As Biden did it. Biden got the global minimum corporate tax rate finally in law just a few days ago. You saw him go overseas 5 weeks ago for a ceremonial signature overseas, just ceremonial. But just a few days ago in Capitol Hill, he signed it into law. This is the global minimum corporate tax rate minimum. If it's a tongue twister, it should be. And that's why it's not in the forced stimulus package. The reason why this is great for forced stimulus is because this confusing thing is not in there. First, Easier to write the forced stimulus recon because the confusing thing is not in there. Easier to call the vote on the recon because this confusing thing ain't in there. Easier to vote on the recon because this confusing thing ain't there. And then finally, easier to pass the recon because this confusing thing ain't there. And finally, something more wonderful than that, the final 15 of the final 7. With potentially just 7 days away to get this done, the final 15 minutes of this video will go over what's happening these next 7 days. Ron Portman represents there's a vote coming and that he's ready to call the vote. Oh boy, what does Nancy say about that? And then, if Ron Portman's ready for a vote, does that mean our money's ready for a vote as well? I'll go over all that analysis. Then I'll cut to the backup plan. There is reportedly a backup plan in place. And is the backup plan because of what Ron Portman said or what he didn't say? Meantime, what did Ron and Nancy say over yesterday? Is it conflicting or is it much the same? And finally, we'll go over all the details of what is in that $3.5 trillion of checks for you. It's deliciousness. But first, something more delicious, the volunteers. If you need help with that rent, utilities, internet, or SNAP, and you cannot find it, don't worry. Reach out to the volunteers. They are in the description to this video. Open the description and go down to emoji of a house. Click the link, it sends you over to the community page. It's news.la.com/community. They'll help you with that rent, utilities, mortgage, and homeowners utilities. Here's a little bit about them. I'll be back in 60 seconds with you, however, with that final 15 of the final 7, the most important news you're going to hear at noontime here on this big day. See you back in 60 seconds. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues. It's at noontime with big exciting news across the board. And congratulations to Chris Perrin, who got $10,700 in rent and utilities. It's a wonderful morning, he just wrote in the live chat. I guess that was for Chris himself. So congratulations, Chris, if that was for you. It's a big day, and we have a lot of money still coming up in the second half of this video. We'll be going over forced stimulus, the final 7 of the final 15 and the final 15 minutes. You're going to see why these next 7 days are critical. Then we cut to fifth stimulus as well. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. Next up, 1 million. Also, like this video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Coming up next is our throwback of Afternoons LA, a new show at 1 o'clock, and then a new Afternoons LA, taped minutes ago at 3 o'clock. Followed by Evenings LA today, a new show tonight, and then overnight's crypto. And boy, I'm so excited for you. Let's get right into fifth stimulus starting right now. The President of the United States, when campaigning for the highest office in the land, promised the American people a raise up of your benefits. He did not deliver it. But Democrats do not miss that. They do not forget that. And so what are they doing? They're taking care of it for you. And they are putting that SSI reform in fifth stimulus and doing exactly what the president had promised, but they're taking care of it. First, they're going to raise your benefit limits up. They're going to remove the asset limit, add an inflationary benchmark, remove the marriage penalty, and remove the income exclusion. Who is this for? You. SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, SSA, and multiple beneficiaries. This is fifth stimulus. This would start drafting in September, out to a vote probably about an October or November done. Money in your hand by November, but the benchmark would be in December. What's the new benchmark? Inflation. Where is inflation going? It's going to be transitory. That is a key word from Jay Powell last week. He's head of the Federal Reserve. What does transitory mean? It means it's going to reach a peak, and its highest peak of the entire year, at the end of the year. And when is it going to be transitory? He said December. Yes, like when they apply the benchmark. Oh boy, yes. Incredible, great news. So how high is the inflation rate going to go? He says Wall Street and myself have been saying 5% by December. This is incredible, great news. So let's do the analysis. First, they'll raise your benefits up, then they'll apply the benchmark. And if the benchmark is 5%, you'll be stepped up an additional 5%. Not just next year, lifetime. Because once your benefits step up, they never step down. If the inflation rate after that is 2%, then you'll be a +2, +5%. Incredible, great news. Next, they're going to move the asset cap dating back to a 1980s law that says you can have more than $5,000 in hand. $3,000 in hand. It's going to go away. Time to get some muddled. No, we have nothing muddled here. Something to have something unmuddled in your hand. And also some stimulus checks. They're going to remove the income cap dating back to a 1960s law that says you can't work and stay on benefits. And finally, the marriage penalty is going to go away. Love is going to win, and you'll be able to do a pair dance. You'll be able to marry your longtime love interest and no longer fear loss of benefits. And if you lost benefits, they'll be restored. Viewers like Rob and Sandy will be able to get married and no longer fear the marriage penalty. And there you go. That is fifth stimulus. But also, yes, those House Ways and Means members represent they're going to be giving you a fifth stimulus check next year. Oh boy. Meantime, if you're missing the first, second, or third stimulus check, you must file a tax return and request it on the tax return. If you haven't done both, contact the IRS or contact your tax preparer to get that on file. Finally, if you're in the live chat and you notice people with a purple hawk emoji next to their name and you're wondering, how do I get that? Click the join link under the video. By becoming a member, you're delivered daily from me a breakdown of all the big money under third stimulus. This is your money to get. That's why members, Purple Hawks, are pouncing to get all this money before anyone else. $5, $10, $15, $20,000. When second stimulus became law and it was a $600 stimulus check, I said, sure, but I'm going to get you $6,000. I got Tyrone and his family $15,000. When third stimulus passed earlier this year and you got a $1,400 stimulus check, I said, sure, but I'm going to get you $14,000. I got Nisi $23,000, and I got my viewer over the weekend $18,000, and I got Louis $18,000. So consider becoming members. You have all this information delivered daily from me to you, handwritten from the community page on YouTube. All right, with that, let's go to the final 15 of the final 7 starting right now. We're going to go over what the next 7 days have in store for us as we potentially get to the finish line. And we'll go over all that in these final 15 minutes. It might be confusing for other places, but I'm going to make it easy breezy for you to follow. Easy and simple for you to follow. First, recon, your money, deal done. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to the American people. This is not third stimulus. This is not the children's checks. These are your checks. Money for seniors, money for workers. First, Senator Danny Kean confirms this is wonderful news because once you agree upon the price tag, then you're ostensibly done. You just slide the amounts into the provisions. Number 2, Bernie Sanders called this a historic day because the price is so huge. Bernie went to the meetings and asking for $7 trillion. He sliced it in half to 3.5, saying he got exactly what he once paid for it, just less amount of time, probably half the amount of time. So what is in the recon? Remember, the recon is just checks, just progressive ideas, and just lots of checks for the American people. And over the next few months, I'll be going sure that you get all these checks of the $3.5 trillion as we head into fifth stimulus. But we have a preview of some of the items that are in that recon. Remember, we don't have the bill yet, but these are some of the items, and they're all incredible. Money for my seniors, money for workers, and everyone else. First, free school meal checks for all. Then tax break checks, cheaper prescription medication checks, immigration reform checks, greener farming checks, money for elections checks, digital divide checks, which is giving money to the cities so that the cities can launch their own free internet companies and give you free internet. Then clean energy perks checks. Then lots of money for workers and lots of money for seniors. First, workers' checks, unions checks, collective bargaining checks, independent contractors checks. And then seniors, Medicare expansion checks, eligibility lowering checks, dental checks, vision checks, and hearing care checks. Wonderful news. Let's cut over now to the bipartisan, the roads and bridges. 2 weeks ago, Mitt Romney, Republican senator, said that he thought that the roads and bridges would be ready for a vote last week, if not this week. At the time, 2 weeks ago, I said, not going to happen last week, it's going to happen this week. Well, this is wonderful news. What happened with Chuck Schumer last week? Chuck Schumer called a vote to end discussion and negotiations on the bipartisan, not the actual bill, but just to end discussion on them. And I said it was not going to pass, but it may help get things moving along. It did not pass, and it really helped move things along. Because why? Minutes after that vote failed, Ron Portman, Senator, Republican, delivered a letter to Chuck Schumer saying he has 11 Republican senators ready to vote and pass the bipartisan roads and bridges this week. Oh my goodness. Yes, Ron Portman represents the bipartisan, the roads and bridges, the infrastructure is ready for a vote and to be passed this week. Whoa, that is huge. You know why this is great news for us. Because the recon, our money, goes for a vote before that. If you've been watching this channel over the last few weeks, you understand that Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, the president, Jalal Paul, and everyone says the recon must go for a vote first before the bipartisan, and they confirm that it will go first because Nancy determines when things vote and Chuck determines when things vote. The recon will go for a vote before the bipartisan. So if Ron Portman is telling the truth and that the bipartisan is ready for a vote this week, and our recon is ready for a vote this week. Oh my goodness. Now here's my personal opinion of the situation. I have two people to weigh. Mitt Romney, Republican on one side, and Ron Portman, Republican on the other side. Who do I put more weight in? Mitt Romney any day of the week. Mitt Romney and Ron Portman have been both detailed extensively over this channel over the last year. Mitt Romney has always delivered on time, details, drafting, and when things go off the tracks for someone else, he fixes and gets it done. He always delivers on time. Ron Portman, on the other hand, has been a mess. When the pandemic was out of control in May of 2020, and you're losing your home, your business, and everything, Ron Portman said, get back to work. You're lazy on cutting off your unemployment benefits. Yeah, he's a different type of person. So who am I putting more weight in, Ron Portman or Mitt Romney? Mitt Romney any day of the week. Now, here is what's very fascinating, is less than 24 hours ago, Nancy Pelosi and Ron Portman were booked for the same broadcast news interview, slightly different apart. One was a few minutes before the other. And what did they say? Ron Portman said that the bipartisan will be ready for a vote this week, and he wants it to be called for a vote right away. Ooh, so he's doubling down. He's saying it's ready. It's ready. It's ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. What did Nancy Pelosi come back and say? What she said before. If that's fine if you're ready, but we're doing the recon first. And then Ron Portman took homage with that, saying, no, I'm ready. Call me for a vote. Well, this is really interesting. Why is this interesting? Because of what has surfaced over the weekend, Plan B. Several articles have indicated that the Democrats have a Plan B set in place. Why? Because they don't believe Ron Portman's being truthful. Interesting. And that they think they're being set up by Ron Portman. Ooh, interesting. But of all the articles, there was one that I believed what the Plan B is. Here is the premise. They all agree upon the premise. Let me go over the premise first. The premise they all say, all the articles say, is the same. That Democrats have had 10 to 15 years of history with Republicans, where Republicans say, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready to vote, I'm ready to vote, I'm ready to vote. How many more minutes left? 2 minutes? I'm ready to vote. 1 minute? Ready to vote. 30 seconds? Oh, we're out of time. Sorry, Democrats. And then the Democrats are like, really? You just did that to me again? So the Democrats think that there's a possibility Ron Portman's trying to run out the clock so that the Democrats are left with nothing. That's how all the articles start. All the articles believe this is the situation at hand with where the Democrats view Ron Portman. But one article delivered this as the Plan B, and I believe this is actually accurate reporting. The article claims that Chuck Schumer called a meeting at the end of last week with all his Senate Democrats, even his most problematic ones, you know which ones I'm referring to, and said to them, what if Ron Portman doesn't get it done? If he doesn't get it done, then our recon doesn't get called to a vote and nothing goes out. And apparently, even the most problematic Democrats said, I'm not going to be held up any longer by Ron Portman or the bipartisan group. If he doesn't get it done, we're calling the vote on the recon. Oh my goodness, this is great news. And this is totally different than their position just a few weeks ago. Remember, the position by those problematic Democrats a few weeks ago was, you can't call the vote on the recon if the bipartisan is not ready. But apparently those problematic Democrats are really aligned with Chuck on this one, saying, We've given Portman a lot of time, and enough is enough. It looks like he's trying to run out the clock. He's not going to run out the clock on our party and leave us nothing in our hand. We're going to call the vote on the recon. Oh my goodness, this is incredible, great news. So you're going to see a lot of firing and a lot of fireworks over the next 7 days. This is getting very, very, very interesting. Let's cut now to the bill and the vote. First, let's go over the vote. When the recon debuts in the Senate, they have at least 1, 2, 3 steps at least to pass that bill. When it debuts in the Senate floor has to vote on it. Okay, then it goes over to the House, and the House floor has to vote on it. Okay, then it has to go back to the Senate, and the Senate will have a 2-day vote-a-rama, presumably. Okay, guess what? Even though this is Democrats voting with Democrats, those Democrats on Friday said, you're not just going to hand me something and tell me to rubber stamp it. I'm going to make changes when I want to make changes. Oh boy, why is this happening? So let me explain the dynamics. When you have a subcommittee, like a House subcommittee, it's not 100 people on a subcommittee. It may be, a few. And if you're not on that subcommittee, but you're on the House of Representatives floor, and you're just not on that subcommittee, you've not had an opportunity to bite at the apple, to make changes. So when that subcommittee sends you something, it's like, well, fine, but I'm not on that subcommittee. I don't like the way you wrote this. It needs to get changed. And that's what they said on Friday. House members who are Democrats said, you're not just going to send me, Senate Democrats, something and tell me to rubber stamp it. I'm not a cheap date, as they said. We're going to modify wherever we want to modify. This is great news for us. Why? Because this goes back now to that item with an S on it. Not Laverne and Shirley, not Schumer, but a Senate bill. When we finally see the recon, this is what you need to know. It's not law yet. We have an emoji for that. It's not law yet. When you see that recon bill finally on the Senate floor, no time to grimace or celebrate because it's not law yet. And we've already seen indication that the Democrats are modifying it throughout all these steps. The steps don't take weeks, they don't take months, they don't take days and days. They're just going to modify it as it goes through these steps. So if you look at the recon, what's on the Senate floor, and you don't like it, no reason to grimace, time to push purple power. If you look at it and you love it, no reason to celebrate either, because they could take something out that you really like. So that's what you need to understand going into those final steps. Senate floor, House, back for a 2-day vote-a-rama, and then off to the president. To recap, let's go over where we are. The recon is a legislation written by Democrats for Democrats. The price tag has been agreed upon, $3.5 trillion. Checks for all walk of life. This is not third stimulus for children. This is checks for the American people. It will be debuted and voted on before the bipartisan. That's what Nancy and Chuck and the president and Jalapal and everyone confirms. It will be voted on, approved before the bipartisan. The bipartisan group represents they're ready to vote this week. But Chuck Schumer's got an allegiance as a backup plan that in the event that the Republicans are not being accurate and are not ready for a vote, the Democrats reportedly are ready to go ahead with a recon, ahead to pass the $3.5 trillion and not wait for the bipartisan. A different position that they had 3 weeks ago, and certainly a lot better for us. The details are still going to heat up as we continue to see edits, and those edits start on both the Senate and House side and back to the Senate side. And so with that, make sure you continue to push down the finish line. Remember, not law yet. And with that, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member so you learn about all this big money that's available for you. So you can get $5, $10, $15, $20,000 money right now, not 5 weeks from now, and not 5 months from now. I'm next back with you with Afternoons LA's new show, a throwback at 1 o'clock, and then a brand new Afternoons LA at 3, a new Evenings LA at 5, and then an Overnight's Crypto as Bitcoin is surging up nearly 15% in 1 hour. Was that a programmatic buy or actually in real people? I'll go over all those details and more on a big Overnight's Crypto. And with that, have a beautiful noontime. Always stay informed, stay focused, always stay informed, and always stay positive. And I'll see you next on Afternoons LALATE.